so fat. It's the perfect Christmas cracker. Hi everybody and welcome to my kitchen. It is almost a big day, so I'm going to show you how to make my most favorite thing to have for either Christmas Eve or Christmas dinner. I'm going to show you how to make my version of a beef Wellington. Let's look at the ingredients that we're going to need. We're going to start making our pastry. Typically beef Wellington uses puff pastry, which I have made from scratch before, but when you're planning a Christmas menu, I don't necessarily want to set aside 2 days to make my puff from scratch, so I'm going to replace it with shortcrust pastry. It's going to give me a nice and flaky texture, so it's going to be quite similar, and the flavor is delicious as well. So we're going to start with our flour and sugar, and I'm going to pulse this together to combine. Next, I'm going to add in my cold cubed butter. I'm using Irish butter, which is salted, so I'm not going to add any extra salt to my pastry. And pulse together until you get a breadcrumb consistency. That's the texture that I want. Next, I'm going to go in with my ice water. I'm starting with 1/4 cup and then see how my dough is coming along, and I'll add a little bit more if I feel like I need it. And this is what you want. You can see that my dough is starting to form little lumps together, so we should be good with that. I'm gonna turn this out onto my work surface and just very quickly put it together with my hands. Okay, and once I have that, I'm gonna split it in half, shape them into like a disc shape, and I have some cling film here, so I'm just gonna wrap up my dough, put them in the fridge to rest for 30 minutes to an hour. Okay, next I'm gonna prep my mushrooms for the duxelle. So I just have some mushrooms here, which I'm gonna put into my food processor and pulse them until they're nice and fine. Make sure you pulse them because you don't want it to turn to mush. Okay, next we're gonna sear our beef. But first we need to salt and pepper it generously. All over the top. And I like to rub it in. And make sure you get it on all sides. I'm gonna put some oil in the pan, and when the oil is hot, put in your beef. I'm adding some thyme and butter to give it a bit of flavor as it sears. And now that it's come out of the pan, I'm gonna brush it with some mustard while it's still warm. And now I'm gonna let it rest and come back to room temperature. In the same pan where I sear my beef, I poured off some of the excess butter, but I'm gonna cook my mushrooms in here. That flavor that we got from the searing is still in the pan, so I wanna make sure that I utilize that. I'm gonna put my heat on medium-high. First, I'm gonna salt and pepper them. And I wanna cook these down until they get nice and dark, and also a lot of the liquid evaporates out. And I'm gonna add some thyme leaves. Okay, my mushrooms have been cooking for a few minutes now, and they're looking nice and pasty, and a lot of the water has evaporated. So now it's time to go in with the wine. And we're gonna cook this for another few minutes until the alcohol evaporates. The duxelle is now ready. Most of the liquid has evaporated and it's nice and pasty, which is exactly what we want. So I'm gonna take this off the heat and put it to the side to come to room temperature. Okay, let's start assembling our Wellington. First, I've put down some cling film because we're gonna use this to wrap everything together. And I also have some prosciutto here, and I'm gonna lay it on my cling film so it's wider than my piece of beef. And just make sure you overlap them a bit as well. And again, to be sure that I have enough to go around the entirety of the beef, I'm gonna do one more row just below this. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in and put my duxelle on top. And just press it in. And I like to use this to kind of cover the seams where I've laid over the prosciutto. Okay, and I'm gonna go with my beef. And now with the help of the cling film, we're gonna roll it up. I like to roll it like this to get it nice and tight. I'm gonna put it to chill in the fridge, and then we can start rolling our pastry. So I'm just gonna flour my surface, flour the top, flour your rolling pin, and roll it out. Keep turning it so it doesn't stick to the counter, and add flour as needed. Okay, I rolled out my pastry. It looks a bit choppy, but it's okay because once I put my Wellington on top and I wrap it, I'm gonna have to trim off the edges anyway. So let's bring the sausage. Okay, let's unwrap our beef. Okay, and then just drape your pastry over your beef. You can tuck in the sides and trim off any excess. And I've some cling film, I'm putting my wrapped beef onto it now, and I'm gonna wrap it up once again nice and tight so it gets compact and I get a nice even shape. So I'm gonna put this back into the fridge now to chill for about an hour or two, and then we can make some decorations with our extra pastry and layer it over the top. Okay, my oven is preheating to 200 degrees at the moment, so I'm just gonna get my last bits ready and then we can start cooking our Wellington. So this has come out of the fridge now and it's nice and stiff. I'm just gonna roll it back onto my baking dish, and I have some egg and a little bit of water here, which I'm gonna use for an egg wash. And then I'm gonna go with my decorations. So I just have some strips of pastry here, which I'm gonna try to use to form a bit of a lattice. If you have any excess, you can trim them off with your knife, but I think I'm looking good. And again, because it's a shortcrust pastry, if you have a bit of breakage, you can patch it all up together. It's so handy. I'm gonna give all this another wash, and this will also help everything to stick together a little bit. And I'm just gonna place 2 of my holly leaves on top. One final bit of wash on the holly leaves. Okay, this is ready for the oven now. Cook it for about 35 to 40 minutes if you want medium to medium rare, but you can cook it to your own taste. All right, let's see when time's up. Okay, the timer has gone off. Let me check on my Wellington. And here it is. It looks so beautiful. I've checked the internal temperature. It's 52 degrees, which is pretty much bang on medium rare, which is exactly what I want. I'm gonna let it rest for about 10 minutes and then we can cut into it. All right, it's been a long time coming. Let's cut into it and see what it looks like inside. That looks so beautifully juicy. It is a perfect medium rare. I am chuffed. I cannot wait to dig in. Okay, I need to give this a try right now. It's so perfect. The beef is beautifully cooked. There's so much flavor in the mushrooms. There's a saltiness from the prosciutto, and the pastry is so buttery and delicious. It's a winner. It's amazing. You need to try it. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. A beef Wellington is always such a showstopper dish when it comes out. It just looks beautiful. There's so much effort that goes into it, but it's always so worth it. The flavors are over the top. I love my version with the shortcrust pastry because it's easier than making your own puff pastry, but you still get that buttery, flaky, crumbly crust on the outside. It is just beautiful. If you like this video, make sure you give me a big like and let me know in the comment section down below if you will ever try a Wellington with shortcrust pastry. If you make a Wellington of your own and you post it on Instagram, be sure you tag me. I would love to see it. Be sure to share this video with your friends. You might inspire them to cook something for Christmas. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my coming videos on our Christmas series and to see what else we've got lined up for the new year. With that, I leave you for this video and enjoy.